The Jaguars' wild coaching search has finally come to an end, and they have settled on former Super Bowl winning head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, Doug Pederson. I gotta say, I'm a fan of this hire, though I probably would have preferred Byron Leftwich. Doug Pederson has been my number one experienced option from the start, and he may end up being the right pick for the Jaguars, being a safer pick and a guy who's led a team to the Super Bowl before. Now, don't just take my word for it here. I got to talk with former Eagles O-lineman Julian Vandervelde, who played O-line there in the early 2010s when Doug Pederson was the quarterback coach in Philadelphia. And you know what? I think you like the hire too. Enjoy. Hello everyone, I'm here with Julian Vandervelde, played for the Eagles while Doug was the QB coach. He said didn't really interact with him much, but hey, I mean, you're qualified as far as I'm concerned.
I appreciate that. I've seen him in person, at least. We'll go that far.
Well, what are your initial thoughts on this hiring by the Jaguars?
I think it's really good. I think coming off of a guy like Urban, especially, who was such an authoritarian, and you see this a lot of times with college coaches. We saw it with Chip up in Philly. We've seen it multiple times. The transition from college to the pros is tough. For a lot of guys. And a lot of that comes from the ego that gets built up, I think, by head coaches in college where they have control over everything. And so that desire to micromanage these guys who are adults and professionals and have been doing this, arguably some of them playing longer than the coaches have been coaching, that's tough for some guys. And Doug has always struck me as the opposite. Right? He's the guy who's going to listen to his players, who's going to take input, who's willing to admit that he doesn't know everything. So he's going to build a staff around him that's going to support him and do a good job. He's going to listen to the players and take feedback. And I think it's just a complete 180 from what they had with Urban. And it seems like that's what that team might need.
Yeah, and how does he compare to other coaches that you've been around and worked with?
He's chill. He's real chill, and I think that's in the NFL, especially. That's different coaching styles work for different people. But I've seen what a really, really high-strung coach can do, and not high-strung in that they just have a lot of energy. That's good. You want to coach with energy, but you don't want to coach who's a control freak.
Yeah.
Who's like, you will do this my way and only my way, or else you're out of here. That's not going to fly. These are world-class athletes making millions of dollars. Like pretty much everybody knows what they're doing.
You can't keep
you're just kind of there to refine them.
Yeah, and Trevor Lawrence, he was a QB coach while you were there. He's worked with Nick Foles and won a Super Bowl with him. So how will this hiring benefit Trevor Lawrence? And do you think we'll see a big bump from him next year in the right direction?
I certainly hope so. Trevor Lawrence is one of those guys who certainly has all the tools and all the intangibles. You can grade a guy out a certain amount when he comes out of college. But the professional game is played on a completely different level. So being able to make the adjustments, necessary to take somebody from 99 degrees to 100 degrees, and really get them boiling, like that's not always easy to do. The better you are, the harder it is to get even better from there. And Trevor's already starting out at a very, very high level. So I think that it'll be good for him to have a guy who's got, this much experience coaching NFL quarterbacks and coaching them at a high level. Ideally, it will lead to a much greater level of development and kind of relaxation for him. Because I think, with Urban there, he's probably so tight all the time in terms of, the kind of personality that Urban was, that it seems sometimes like he couldn't just play the game. And I think Doug will just let him play.
Yeah, and as a locker room guy, how is he?
He's great. He's chill. Like I said, that's the big thing is he's not gonna rub players the wrong way, I think. Which lets them feel like professionals and adults. Like you're not treating them with kid gloves.
Yeah.
In the locker room a little bit, maybe a little bit less strict in terms of schedule and things like that. Give these guys a little bit of freedom. They got here, they've been here, they know what they're doing, they know how to get themselves ready for game day. You don't have to micromanage them at this level. And that is something that in the locker room can be devastating sometimes, is when everything is just so regimented and the consequences for not meeting that regiment or the schedule can be so severe that guys just feel like, well, I'm not going to put up with this nonsense. Like if you can show up and play, then you can show up and play. So I think that he'll bring a little bit more of a relaxed atmosphere, which should be good.
Yeah, and then we got free agency coming up here. You got guys who are moving all around the league, and the Jaguars got a lot of holes to fill. And coaching is a huge thing that probably sways players in free agency. Like, I do or do not want to play for this guy. That was an issue last year with Urban. How's Doug's reputation around the league?
I hope it's pretty good. I haven't really spoken to any guys, but I haven't heard any complaints. And that's the thing, is usually you hear about it, whether from players or kind of through the grapevine or whatever. If players just don't like playing for somebody, that becomes very apparent because everybody talks. And that's one of the great things about the NFL is almost like no team is made up entirely of guys who started with that team. Everyone, there's constant moving parts, all throughout the league, and guys will move from one city to another city, one team to another team, but they maintain those relationships. So that there's a lot of communication between players as far as, hey, I'm headed to this place. I know you had this guy as like a position coach or whatever. How is he? Like, what should I expect? And so players, coaches get a reputation as a player's coach, or a coach's coach, or the kind of the whipping boy for the owner, if you will, or the GM, or just kind of if they're lazy or they're a try hard, like that stuff travels. And Doug's won a Super Bowl. He's got that reputation behind him, so people should be at least excited about that. And he did it with a backup quarterback, with a team that was banged up, in maybe a less than ideal situation. And he built a great staff around him to help him with that, which I think can also be something that Jacksonville can look forward to.
All right, well, that's all I got for you, Julian. I appreciate your input on the hire, and it's great getting to talk with you.
Great talking to you as well. I hope you guys crush it this year. And is CJ still with you guys? CJ Beathard still there?
Yeah, I actually got to talk with him at training camp.
Nice. All right. Well, in that case, I suppose I'll root for the Jaguars at least a little bit.
Well, I mean, I've heard Doug likes getting those veteran quarterbacks in there, so I hope he stays for next year.
I hope. That'd be nice. He's got the tools too, man. But good luck with you guys next year.
Yeah, any Hawkeye's good in the NFL.
Amen to that.
Well, I won't keep you any longer, man. Enjoy your Saturday, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We'll see you around, Lo.
So there you guys have it. Another fan of the Doug Pederson hire. I hope you guys enjoyed our conversation. I'll have plenty more Jags content coming your way with free agency. Going to be starting up and heating up soon, right after the Super Bowl. So be sure to look out for that. Season 2 of my podcast, Schlick Sports Made in the River City, will be on your way within the next few weeks. So be on the lookout for that as well. But for now, I'm signing off. See you next time. On where? Oh yeah, on Schlick Sports.